Hi everyone, my name is Gabriela Campos. I'm a Latina actor currently living in Los Angeles, California. My family is from Puerto Rico and Argentina, and similar to Miss Julia Alvarez, I have had a complex relationship with my name and what it means to me. I'm here to talk to you about my perspective and some of the thoughts that I had while reading Miss Julia Alvarez's poem. And if you see me looking down, it's because I have my notebook here with me so that I don't lose track of my thoughts. So bear with me if I look down a little bit. But here we go. Just so you know, as an actor, I've spent probably a little bit more time than most thinking about my name. This comes down to a variety of reasons. First off, actors have to have names that are inimitable, meaning that they can't be copied or repeated in the union, because once you join the Actors Equity Union or the SAG-AFTRA union as a performer, you have to choose a name that is singularly unique. So that's why you see so many people changing their names once they come to Hollywood. In fact, many of the actors that you probably know, their first names or last names or full names are not their actual legal names. And I'm sure you can think of some examples. For instance, Emma Stone, her real legal first name is Emily, and there was already an Emily Stone registered in the SAG-AFTRA union, so she had to pick a different name. So she went with Emma Stone. In this industry, your name is your marker. It's the first thing people will see when you're listed in a show's playbill. It's how they associate you to a role that you're playing when the credits start to roll at the end of a movie or TV show. And it's how other industry professionals are able to find and reach you through either your resume or other social media networks and channels. So because of my career choice, I had to think about what name I wanted to go by professionally, and I landed on my full name, Gabriela Campos, for a couple of different reasons. First, I think it's a really beautiful name, whether you pronounce it in an English accent or Spanish accent like Gabriela. I find it very pretty and I always have. But then I started to think about my name's history and the different ways that people have called me in both my family and my friends in different aspects of my life. I've noticed that a lot of my American peers and friends always call me Gabby. It's not a name that I chose, it's just the abbreviated version for Gabriela, and it's shorter, easier to say, I would guess. And growing up in a town that is pretty small and 95% white, that was just what I was called all the time going to school, and by my teachers and by my friends. But no one in my family calls me Gabby. I am only called Gabriela or other family pet names, such as Nini, which is my family nickname, or by my middle name, Nicole, or when my mom's mad at me, Gabriela Nicole. So I've always found it really interesting that there seems to be this divide in my name between the two different major groups in my life, and that being the people of color in my family and close family and friends who call me by my given full name, which is Spanish, and then the people in the other aspects of my life who are mostly white Americans, not usually from immigrant families, who immediately shorten my name to Gabby, and usually without asking. This then leads me to think about the other members of my family who have struggled with their names and just the history of people of color in this country and how their names have been taken away from them. For instance, my cousin Jaime, he was born and raised in Puerto Rico, and as a kid, he had to move to Virginia with his mother and stepfather, my aunt. And when he was in school in Virginia, he was also in a small suburb that was mostly white, and his teachers refused to call him by his name, which is Jaime. It's the Spanish version of James. They would only call him Jamie, and even after he would ask them to call him Jaime, they still would refuse to call him Jaime. There was something about his name and its Spanish pronunciation that they just did not want to say. They saw it written as Jaime, and for them in English, that means you have to say it as Jamie. I think about other examples in history where immigrant families come over from countries like Italy or Ireland or Latin America, Eastern European countries, and they shorten their names to assimilate better into America so that people don't have to pronounce their long-sounding seemingly complicated names. And then, of course, I think of the African Americans in this country whose ancestors were slaves and whose names were taken away from them forcibly by their slave owners. There's a show from back in the 80s called Roots. You might have seen the reboot in the late 2010s. And there's this iconic scene in Roots where the slave owner is breaking down the slave Kunta Kinte and telling him and asking him what's his name. And Kunta Kinte refuses to say his new name that was given to him by the slave owner's wife. And he repeats that his name is Kunta Kinte, Kunta Kinte, Kunta Kinte, until he's broken down and finally says that his name is Toby. So when I think about the history of names in this country and within my immediate family, I realize that there's a power in deciding what I want to be called. And it's okay to tell someone that's not how my name is pronounced, that's not my name, it's actually this, and repeating your name as it is, and educating people. Whether it's forced or voluntary, assimilation into this country usually begins with a person's name. My name is a source of pride for me. It pays respect to my parents who gave me life, my mom who went through 36 hours of labor with me, and to my ancestors in the countries that my family are from. When someone introduces themselves to you, it's okay to ask them to repeat their name so that you can make sure that you're saying it correctly. And if you think of a nickname, don't immediately assume that you can just call them by whatever nickname you thought of in your head. Ask them first. I always appreciate when people ask me, do you go by Gabby or Gabriela? So that I can tell them, I prefer Gabriela. I hope this was helpful for you guys to hear a firsthand testimonial about the importance of a person's name within their industry, within their family, within their life in general. And if you have any questions, you guys can feel free to reach out to me. You can ask Miss Herman for my email or my Instagram handle, and you can send me a message. And again, I hope I was helpful. Thanks so much. Bye.